All right, Wes, so here we are, man. It's a beautiful day today. Here we are at the Steel Horse Under Cafe.
Yes.
Life is good. We're going to take a little while here and enjoy a cigar. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of one of those things that's nice to do every now and then.
Right.
I'm going to go first. I am actually smoking the Montecristo. This is their yellow classic cigar right here. This is, first of all, it's a shade Connecticut, very mild cigar. Mm-hmm. It's got good flavor, but very mild. And you know, I normally, I have a tendency to stick with the Maduros and I kind of like those heavy ones. I think I smoked the Steel Horse Ape Hanger cigar, which is kind of, it's kind of all over the place. The Magic Toast, it's more of a richer, darker kind of a. This is a very light and I wouldn't say creamy. A lot because that's what you hear a lot of times. People talk about, oh, it's got that shade Connecticut wrapper. This is a Dominic Puro. I mean, everything's Dominic. So this is kind of, this right here, I mean, Montecristo's been around forever. Oh, yeah. Long before we couldn't buy cigars from Cuba. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So they've been around forever. They do have, you know, they had to move it to Dominican Republic so they could sell them to the rest of, you know, to the United States.
Right.
You know, they still make them in Cuba as well. This one here is a legal one. It's legally bought right here in the United States. I always say if you smoke, like I'm old, so if you smoked cigars a long time ago, that's what this reminds me of.
Okay.
It's kind of an old-fashioned style cigar. To me, it's a very, I always say it kind of tastes like dirt. Huh. And, you know, people would call that an earthy, it's got that earthy, woody kind of, and that's kind of what these are. Okay. But it was just, today was a day, it was a sunny day, and it was just one of these days where it's like, you know, something light, I'm pairing it with a cream soda. Mm-hmm. Normally I, you know, drink beer a lot of times, but today it was just like, you know, just go light. I just wanted a light cream soda, a light cigar. Again, it's not that it doesn't have any flavor, it's just very mild and very mellow. And so, kind of feel like that's what today was.
Yeah. Just a smooth day.
And these are very smooth. Now, I just lit this thing up. I've said it every time. I've yet to light a cigar and go, wow, that tastes really good right off the light up.
Yeah.
These people that can pick all that crap out of there, I have no idea. I light it up, it's like, I know when I get about 1/4 of an inch to a 1/2 inch into it, I'm going to start really enjoying this cigar.
Yeah.
So,
they must not have got sick in 2020. They can still taste them.
Apparently. I can taste, but what I taste, I don't like.
Yeah.
It just takes a while before it's like, okay, now it's really kind of kicking in. But, you know, I'm not sure. I was going to say how much these cost. I don't really remember. I think they're about $25 for a box of 15, so they're not too terribly bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
You know, I think you can get them for like $12-13.
Yeah.
So, for me, that's the upper end for me. When it gets over $10, I like to find those cigars in the $6 range.
Yeah.
I smoke plenty of them that are in the $2 to $4 range.
Right.
I smoke plenty of those. But for this one here, when you get up over that $10 range, to me, it better be a really good cigar, and I better be able to smoke it all the way down to the nub. And generally with these, I can.
Yeah.
So what you got?
Well, I think I said this the last 2 reviews that I was going to do this the next time, and I still didn't do it. So I'm finally doing it. It's the Man of War Valkyrie. It's a Churchill, so it's a long one. But it's got a Connecticut wrapper. So it's supposed to be smooth to medium bodied.
Okay.
And then fillers and binders are all Nicaraguan.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure the Connecticut wrapper is actually Nicaraguan Connecticut as well.
So you're and see, and that's kind of no more of what I usually do. It turns out I just, and I don't know why, but I just noticed that it's like, oh man, I really like this cigar, and I look at them, and the vast majority of them are Nicaraguan.
Yeah.
I have a tendency to kind of lean towards the Nicaraguan tobacco, as opposed to say the Dominican or even the Honduran or whatever, but for whatever reason, these Montecristos, I just kind of like them. Like I said, for me, it's just an old school cigar.
Right.
You know, but normally that's where I would be heading more towards the, like that's you said smooth to mild.
Yeah.
Whereas this is smooth. I mean, it's as mild as it gets. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's no smooth to medium or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. This is just smooth. This is as mild as it gets right here. And like I said, every now and then I kind of like that.
Right.
You know, I kind of got into a habit where everything I smoked was Maduro. Everything I smoked. It was all Maduros. It was all heavy cigars. It was all, and then I forget what it was, but I was watching something and somebody was like, you know, if you ever just want a light cigar, you know, sometimes you just want a mellow cigar. And it was like, you know, I'm looking at my humidor. nothing but full strength, full body cigars.
Right.
I was like, well, I should have some mild ones just in case somebody comes over and
Right.
doesn't want one of these kind. And then I smoked one time. And I was like, you know, time and place.
Right.
There's a certain time and a certain place where there's certain times where it's like, gosh, just a nice, easy smoke is just really relaxing.
Right.
Because to me, that's what it's all about. I love to sit back and relax.
Yeah.
Like I said, with the cream soda, it's fantastic. What you got?
I got a root beer. Still has beer in the name, I guess. Normally I like the cream soda, but I was like, you know what? I haven't had root beer in a while.
I like root beer with the cigar. Root beer, because that's about the only time I'll drink a root beer.
Oh yeah.
But I also like the Dr. Pepper with cigars as well. Because I drink Dr. Pepper all the time. I do like root beer and I do like cream soda. When it comes to cigars, they just pair really good.
Right.
When you're not in the mood for alcohol.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'll sit here with a glass of whiskey sometimes. You know what I mean? Or a glass of bourbon or a glass of tequila. But for the most part, it's usually a beer or it's a soda.
Yep.
So, Wes, I know everybody knows you as Cameraman Wes.
They do. And they know that I have a beard. Which is a good spot to say, hey, badass beard care.
Yeah, badass beard care is pretty good stuff, man. I have really enjoyed it. I am still using the Chuck's Hog Wash that we got from them. I can't use anything else now.
Right.
When I go back to my old shampoo or whatever anymore, I hate it because my hair feels nasty.
Right.
It just lays flat. It's all stringy looking. Whereas when I use this stuff, it just fills it out so nice. It's badass beard care is pretty good. They got me as a customer. They now have me as whatever you call it, customer client, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Pretty good stuff.
They've got some new scents out. I know somebody that follows us purchased one, and the only reason why they made the purchase was because of them sponsoring the podcast.
Right.
So that was pretty cool.
Patreon member of of Steel Horse Thunder. Yep.
So if you have a beard, any facial hair, it doesn't have to be a big beard or anything like that. Just if you got any facial hair, this product is top notch.
And it's all American made.
Yep. Veteran owned. I mean, it is good stuff. It really is. And like I've always said, if I don't like it, I'm not gonna promote it. So, I'm good. I'm glad you said something because I kind of forgot. Yeah, make sure you check out their Facebook page. They've got ads going on for free samples. So you just pay the shipping. I think it's like maybe $3 for the shipping, something like that.
Nice.
It might be less than that, but you get a free sample. So you get oil, balm, and something else with it. There's 3 items in it.
Okay.
And they got really cool stickers. So
I still haven't yet. They do have really
they have cool stickers.
I put my chicken head one on or the eagle head. Yeah, I put that one on my humidor.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good.
That was for adults only. I didn't want to put that one on camera.
Right.
But I like it. But very cool stickers. Great product. So I know you are with Frito-Lay.
Yes.
So PepsiCo, whatever you guys call yourselves. And
we try to separate ourselves from Pepsi. They're a good company too, but we make all the money for Pepsi.
So Frito-Lay, what's the biggest selling product from Frito-Lay? And don't say chips.
Right.
I know it's chips, but
technically it is still classic Lay's. That is the #1 product that we make.
Is that right?
It is. It's weird. I personally don't like regular Lay's chips.
I love them.
I like the wavy or the ruffles with the ridges, you know. I like that style. Like, even with barbecue, I have to have the wavy barbecue over the regular barbecue. But yeah, it's classic Lay, and then for corn, it would be the Doritos, Nacho Doritos. Because technically they're two separate divisions, because one's a potato chip and one's a corn chip.
Gotcha.
So we probably make more money off of the Doritos because they are a tad bit more expensive. So I guess corn's more expensive than potatoes.
I was going to say, I never realized that. I never even thought about the fact that they were not made. The fact that potato chips are made out of potatoes. Mm-hmm. And so therefore, corn chips, I always think of Fritos as corn chips. You know what I mean? That's to me, that's what Fritos are, is a corn chip. So it's just like, I never think of them as, okay, they're actually just a brand of corn chip.
Yeah.
I never think of it that way.
It is funny. I mean, I've had so many different routes now. You get into some of these places, and certain chips are known as, cornies, and that could go for Fritos or Cheetos. Because in some places, people called Cheetos cornies. I was like, it's made out of corn, but... So it is pretty funny when you start meeting.
So Cheetos are made out of corn too?
Yeah, it's a cornmeal.
Really?
Yeah.
How did I not know any of this?
I haven't even made it to the factory. They quit doing those tours a long time ago, so I didn't get to do all that.
So, with everything that's going on nowadays, okay, and the economy obviously has been in the toilet for a while.
Right.
Economy has been nosediving and for a few years now, big time.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys noticed less sales?
Now 2020 and 2021 were both back-to-back historic profit years for Frito-Lay.
Historic profit?
Yes. So
I guess if you were stuck at home and you were just sitting at the house,
right, and all you're eating is food that you sit in front of the TV and eat chips. So yeah, I mean, those 2 years, and my location where I'm a sales rep at is actually one of the few locations that carries their own warehouse. So most locations, the orders are built up at different warehouses, like up in Indianapolis, and then when we order at the store, those orders get sent to those places. They build the orders for them and send it to like our location. So those guys, they just load whatever they get on the truck and that's it. And so in 2020, 2021, they didn't have as many workers in those warehouses. So those orders were actually lower for them. Whereas us, we have our own warehouse to pick from. So we were making astronomical numbers. I mean, the route I was on, I think I did... It always hits 100,000 every year. That route is a big route, and I think I did like $50,000 or $60,000 more than what it averaged.
Wow.
Yeah.
So not everything went in the tank on during COVID.
No.
Because I just know of so many businesses that went out of business. They couldn't stay afloat. And, everybody struggled so hard to keep it going.
Apparently they all spent their money on chips. Because we made a lot of money those first couple of years. And that's still, it definitely steadied out. Once we got into 2022, it's like people started calming down. They're like, okay, obviously we need to cut back a little bit. But we still make our numbers. We hardly ever miss our quotas. So we're still making, I think it's because, I mean, we've also raised our price probably 4 times in the last 3 years, so.
As has everybody else.
Yes. So I know, some of that is, we might make fewer sales, but now each sale is more.
I got you.
So money-wise, we're still making the right amount of money, but I think we are selling fewer bags altogether.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was just always curious about that. It's like, when I think about, for instance, right, none of us knew what was going to happen or anything. So, you remember back in 2020, man, when the shelves were all empty and everybody was stocking up toilet paper. For whatever reason, everybody got diarrhea during 2020 because
they were eating a lot of junk food.
So yeah, it was kind of funny, but I just remember toilet paper.
Yeah,
it was always gone, dude. So I made it a point, but just whenever I went shopping, anytime I went to the grocery store, I always just bought a pack of toilet paper.
Right.
Not an entire, not 2 grocery carts full or anything like that. I would just grab a pack of toilet paper.
Right.
And after a while, I started realizing this closet that I was putting it in, because everybody was kind of stocking on food and this and that. I stocked up on canned goods and anything that would last a few years. I was buying extra, again, nothing crazy, but if I was going to go and buy a can of soup, instead of buying 1 can, I'd buy 4 cans.
Right.
You know what I mean? And just gradually started building up. What about chips? Because that was something I never did. I mean, I didn't think about it, but
well,
how long?
You also didn't have to buy your chips either.
I wasn't gonna say it, but how long would a bag of chips last? I mean, and I know they're gonna have a used by this date. Yeah. We all know everything that's got that date on there.
Right.
Everything lasts longer than what it says.
Yeah. So technically, just your regular potato chips, even in regular corn chips. Now you start getting into like our healthy lines, like off the eaten path, stuff like that. I don't understand how, but they have way longer expiration dates. It's supposed to be less preservatives,
the other way
healthier,
around,
but it's got twice the length on shelf life. So a normal bag of potato chips should last, by the best date, about 3 to 4 months. Now, we did have a person, not in our area, but we found out that somebody had put a bag like in the back of a Dollar General or something, and it got looked over for a very long time, and they found it and it was expired by a year. And the employees opened it up just to see, because it still had air in it. It wasn't leaking air.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Was it still puffed out?
Yeah. Huh. So they opened it and they're like, it kind of tasted a little stale, but it still had the normal crisp to it. So as long as it's not leaking anything, that nitrogen that's in the bag will keep it fresh for a long time.
And that's what I was getting ready to ask. Because listen, every person out there right now is saying, why the hell don't you fill the damn bag up with chips? Why do you keep blowing them up with air? And you put this many chips in the bottom of the bag, and the rest of the bag's this tall, and you got this many chips, and the rest is all air. But it's like, all right, I know it's not all air.
Right.
So, what'd you say?
Yes, there's and I don't know the whole equation that it is, but there's oxygen and nitrogen.
Yeah, somebody asked on the floor.
There's oxygen and nitrogen in the bag. And the nitrogen is what helps keep the freshness.
Okay.
Because oxygen will actually make it deteriorate faster. Mm-hmm. So I know it's higher on nitrogen than oxygen, but the other reason why there's so much air in the bag is because people that stock the chips don't always stock the shelves properly. And so
it keeps them from
extra air in the bag keeps you from just smashing 2 extra bags on the shelf.
Which then you open up the bag and they're all
crumbles. Yeah. So it's a two-way thing.
There is a real reason.
Yes.
There's actually a reason besides just making it look like you're buying a big ass bag of chips and you're only getting 14 of them.
Right.
But there actually is a method to the madness, and there actually is a real reason. Yeah, that was the one I couldn't wait to ask you about.
Yeah.
That. It's just like, all right, why in the hell are they all blowed up like that? But I never even thought about that. Stocking a shelf and yeah, you're gonna squeeze them on there as many as you can, and then next thing you know, because listen, there's nothing worse than when you go to a carnival or you go to the fair, or you go to an expo of some sort, and there's always somebody selling kettle corn.
Yeah.
I love kettle corn.
Oh yeah.
I'll get a big ass bag of kettle corn. You start eating that. Well, by the time you get down to this part here, it's all easy, tiny little pieces. You know what I mean? It's like, God, I'd give anything just for one big fluffy piece of popcorn again.
With that extra sugar on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is. It's a bummer. You open up a bag of chips or a bag of, like, I eat a lot of pretzels, and I open up a bag of pretzels and they're all broken up into little pieces.
Now, luckily though, pretzels actually get pretzels and Cheetos. If you're strictly going for the most product in the bag, pretzels and Cheetos have the highest filling level.
Is that right?
Out of all the chips, yeah. Because they're a sturdier product.
That's why I eat them. I'm a crafty person. I want to have something good. All right, man. How's your cigar? We've been able to get into the first third of these cigars, and
it's really good.
I just ashed mine all over the floor, made a big old mess down there. Good thing we got carpet.
Right. Now, I have smoked a Valkyrie once, not twice.
Not twice?
Just once. Just once. I did smoke one once, and it was, I think, a week after I got them. So it hadn't been in the humidor very long yet. So now this has been in the humidor for probably pushing 6 months now. Either somewhere between 4 to 6 months. And I can definitely tell the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's much more even. Where that first one just kind of felt like it was all over the place, and yeah, now this one is much better.
Nice.
So that definitely wow, that's still on there really tight. Now I'm afraid it's gonna fall off now.
Yeah, we already made a mess. Might as well just keep on making messes.
But if you can buy them and keep them in your humidor for at least a month. If you do it, I know it's hard to wait because you get excited when you buy them. It's like, oh, I want to smoke one right now. If you can wait at least a month, it definitely helps.
Because I'm that same way too. I get some that I've been dying to try, and I finally get them in the mail, and it's like, and again, if you're buying them online, hell, I buy them from Cigars Daily out in Arizona, or Thompson's, which I think is over in Pennsylvania, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere over in that area.
Yeah, because the first shipment notice is always from Pennsylvania from them. Yeah.
And so, I know these cigars now are going to be on a truck. They're in a box. Thompson's, you're just getting them from Thompson's. I do know Cigars Daily, I will say this: when you buy them from them, they do throw one of those Velveeta packs. The
Bovetta.
The Bovetta.
Velveeta packs.
I've called them Velveeta packs forever now.
I'm going to put that up on the screen when I edit this.
Velveeta pack. Yeah, the Bovetta packs.
Yeah.
They'll throw one of those in there with it.
Oh, that's nice.
So, that is actually, I do like that part.
Yeah.
When they do that. But there is something to say about when you finally just let it, because everybody will tell you 3 days.
Right.
Leave it in there 3 days, and I find 3 days really doesn't change anything.
No.
And again, if it's coming from Arizona, especially.
Right.
There's not an ounce of humidity out there.
No, it should be pretty dry.
Coming here to central Indiana, there's a lot of humidity in this region here. So for me to get everything acclimated, like you said, about a month. If you can be patient,
right?
Let it sit for a month in your humidor first before you even light one up, because it is amazing. I'll light one up right away, and it's like, that's pretty good. And then you let one sit, you light one up a couple weeks later, and you're like, yeah, it's a lot better.
Yeah.
And then you pull one out, even 2 more weeks. You know, now it's been a month,
Right.
And you're like, oh my God, what a difference! It makes a huge difference.
It does make a huge difference.
It really does.
Yeah, this one, it's really, because the last time I was like, man, I don't know if I can smoke these. It kind of had like that harsh, that aftertaste that some cigars will give you, and it's like, oh, I don't know about this. It's not doing it at all this time. So it's definitely mellowed out, I guess, in the humidor.
Nice. Yeah, this one here, like I said, it doesn't really change a whole lot. You know, people talk about, you know, well, the first third you're going to get this, second third you're going to get a little bit different, third. Whereas this one stays the same. The only difference you notice as you get into this cigar here is the finish on it when you after you blow it out. Like you were saying, that one, the first time you smoked it, it kind of had that dirty finish on it, you know. And that's, to me, that's, you get some cigars and it is that way, you know. So you puff it in, you blow it out, it's like, yeah, and then it's just like, I don't know, the aftertaste, you know what I mean?
Right.
Whereas this actually has more of like a, I don't know, it's almost like a caramel-y. Like almost like that caramelly kind of, just a real slight sweetness. I want to say, I mean, there's no spice at all.
Yeah.
I see them with Nicaraguan, you generally have a lot of spice coming at the end. This one doesn't have a whole lot of spice on it at all.
I say, I get the pepper notes, like what you've talked about with some of yours, the pepper notes. I definitely get that with this one.
Yeah, this one here, if with the retro hail, I can get a little bit, but not much.
Yeah.
This is just a very, very, very smooth, mellow cigar.
Right.
So if I fall asleep, that's why.
That was still on tight.
So Jinx. So what do you think of the new Storms Vision production Steel Horse?
I like it. And I need to edit it a little bit more.
That was from the Total Eclipse that came through Indiana. When was it?
I just need to brighten the steel on the horse up a little bit more. It looks really nice though.
Yeah, it's pretty slick. Pretty darn slick. I put my last time we did a cigar review, I smoked the Steel Horse the Steel Horse ape hanger. So I kind of stuck the band right up there.
Nice.
But yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. I just thought that was really cool look to the logo.
Right.
Putting that Eclipse picture right behind it and stuff. I mean, that was quite the experience.
It was. Yeah, I really wasn't sure what to expect from it, and it completely went above and beyond my expectations of what it was going to be. Because of having the one in 2017, from here it was a partial eclipse, and it's like, well, I mean, if it's the same as it was then, I don't understand the big deal. And I knew it was a total eclipse, but it was just in the back of your mind, you're like, well, we just had it a few years ago. I don't understand. Yeah. And the people that did not show up this year, because nobody came into where our area is, there was not that many people here.
No.
From out of town. And they missed out. Because it was just a crazy experience.
It was spectacular. I was the same way. I thought, you know, it's going to be maybe a little darker than what it did during the partial eclipse. And
right.
Didn't really think anything about it. And dude, it was just unbelievable. I mean, just sitting there and be able to watch it, and then, you know, total eclipse, you can, when it goes total, you can just look at it. You don't even have to shield anything or nothing. I mean, we used the glasses all the way up until that point, but when it went totality, just to be able to look at it and go, holy crap, that is amazing. Right.
And the sunset all the way around you, that was wild.
Yeah.
I wish we could have got that on camera, because that was just, I've never seen anything like that before.
That was pretty wild. Yeah, that was really cool. And I just enjoyed it. We were with about 1,500 people.
Yeah.
1,200, 1,500 people out there, and it was just a good time. Good time, and I just remember how quiet it got. When it went into totality, it was like, the band stopped playing. And then, and how about that? The band playing Black Hole song.
Right.
As we're going into this totality was just awesome. And then just to stop and stay silent for the totality, and it was what was it, 4 minutes?
I think after it was all said and done, they updated it. It was like 4 minutes and 23 seconds or something. Martinsville, Indiana ended up having the longest totality in the state. That's what I heard.
Right.
I haven't researched that, so I don't know if that's true or not. But
Gotcha.
from people that I talked to, they said it was the best viewing area in the state was Martinsville, Indiana.
That was pretty cool. Well, there was a guy down that's a volunteer at NASA, and that's what he said when he was looking it up, that they told him this would be the best viewing point.
Right.
And I know he wasn't disappointed.
No.
He absolutely loved it.
So I keep following him because he keeps up posting stuff on his Facebook page from being able to go through and edit his shots and stuff.
Oh,
The
nice.
telescopes. It's pretty cool.
Nice. I'm going to have to check that out. Yeah, I'll check that out, man. Yeah, that was just super cool, and I just thought with the logo on it like that,
right.
I just thought it came out really good. I just really like that. Yeah, like you said, we can make the steel horse maybe a little bit lighter so it pops out a little bit more, but yeah, super cool.
Yeah,
super cool.
So what are we at? Episode 4. We've had 4 episodes now for this new season. Yeah,
for Steel Horse.
Yeah, it's been 4 episodes.
Okay. Yeah, we're kind of at that point now where they'll be basically every week. We're going to be cranking them out now.
So this is your. How many seasons have you done now?
I did 1 season with Steve Reeves.
Right.
So his last season. And then we are now doing season 12 since we've taken the show over. So, yeah, I guess technically this is my 13th, starting my 13th season, our 12th since it became Steel Horse Thunder.
Right.
It was Steel Horse with Steve. Because of legalities, we had to change the name. We had permission from everybody to keep the name the same. We also have Leidendorf Law, who is a law firm, and he said, you will not keep the name the same. You have to change the name. I don't care if they give you if they sign it in blood.
Right.
You have to change the name.
Yeah.
So we added Thunder to the end of it, and it's been Steel Horse Thunder now going on, like I said, season 12 now.
So you, before the show, you were working at a sawmill. So what was it like going from getting up every morning and going into a sawmill, going into kilns, testing lumber, stuff like that, to going out to rides and having to stand in front of a camera?
You know, it's funny because that was the reason that Steve Reeves last year, he was sick. He wasn't feeling good. Later found out what it was, and it was horrible, but he just wasn't feeling good, going through a rough time personally, going through a divorce, and the sawmill was shutting down. We were going out of business. 08 just absolutely destroyed us. Unfortunately, somebody had just bought the sawmill, so they had a full mortgage that they were paying.
Okay.
You know, a lot of your sawmills they've been family owned for years after year after year, so they're already paid for. So a lot of your sawmills, when 08 hit and the bottom dropped out of everything, they just shut down. They just closed their doors and they shut down, and they were down for a year, some a year and a half. And then when things started to rebound, they were able to go back. They opened back up, hired people again, and they went back on like nothing ever happened. Well, if you're paying a full mortgage payment on a business, you don't have that option of closing down. You can't shut down for a year and a half and wait. It's the only reason why we went out of business. It was just dumb luck, you know what I mean? It was just horrible timing or whatever, but so that's why we ended up going out of business, and I knew Steve wasn't doing good. I am a minister, and so I have been preaching since 1987, probably 1988 was the first time. You know, or no, I take that back. It was late 87. So since 87, I've been in front of people speaking.
Right.
So that doesn't bother me. And then, you know, the more I was doing that, and I was, you know, you're in bigger churches, you are in front of cameras and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that didn't bother me. And that's what I was, you know, with Steve, he knew my past, and so he's like, you know, I said, hey man, if you need help, I don't mind helping you out. I'm getting ready to be unemployed. I've never drawn unemployment a day in my life. I just want to ride my motorcycle and draw unemployment for a couple months. And, you know, so that's when we decided, you know, I started doing it with him. And then we ended up taking the show over the very next season. And Cindy and I, actually Cindy did not the first season. She helped, but she wasn't really the co-host.
Right.
You know, I did have Alicia Bernhardt came on halfway through the first season, helped me out that first, or the last half of the first season. Mm-hmm. By then, Cindy was ready to come back, get on board. And so it's been me and Cindy ever since. But that was the thing. The sawmill, 25 years going to work the same exact time. You clock in, you know what I mean?
Right.
You know, now later on in the years, I didn't clock in anymore, but I was still there. You know,
right.
I'm still showing up at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And you're there sometimes till 5 o'clock in the evening. And it was just, that was just my life for 25 years. You get up early and you go do this. I had everything scheduled, you know what I mean? My desk, I had a big desk calendar, and I knew what I was doing every day. I knew what was, you know, vacations were planned a year in advance, and ministry stuff was a year in advance. That was me. And then all of a sudden I'm doing a show where I never know what I'm doing from one day to the next.
Right.
Dude, it drove me crazy.
I bet.
I hated it. Never knowing what's going on. Something changes at the last minute. Mm-hmm. You know, you gotta ride. You know, you're going to cover this ride on Saturday. Great. Then all of a sudden Friday night, it's like, yeah, that's not going to work. What we're going to have to do is you're going to have to, you know what I mean? It's going to change, and you know, rides all start at different times of the day, and so you have some early ones where, you know, kickstands are up at 9 o'clock in the morning. Mm-hmm. You have other ones, kickstands aren't up till 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And anywhere else in between that. And it was just I'm very good at improv. I'm very good at changing in a moment's notice. Yeah. When all of a sudden something happens, it's like, okay, I can make a quick decision and change it and go with it. That is probably one of my, I say all the time, the greatest gift God ever gave me was I am very adaptable. Yeah. I'm not one of those like race car drivers. Mm-hmm. A race car driver has to have his car set this way. Right. You have to set it this way. Whereas with me, it's like, now just give me a few minutes and I'll figure it out, and I'll just do it. You put it how you want it, right? And I'll adapt to that. So that's kind of, you know, I always felt that was one of my greatest gifts. I can come up with stuff on the fly. I can do things right away, but that doesn't mean I want to. Right. And that's what people don't get. People don't understand. They're like, oh, but you're good at that. You're good when a curveball's thrown at you. You're good at that when you're doing something and all of a sudden, you know, you have to figure out a way out. You're great at that. It's like, it doesn't mean I like it. It doesn't mean that's what I want to do. Right. It's like, no, I want everything planned out ahead of time. Yeah. And so that was the hard part. And for the first probably the first 3 seasons, it wore me out. Now on top of that, I had to become a salesman. I had to do a lot of things I'd never done. Yeah. I am not a salesman. I'm way too honest to be a salesman. So yeah, I'm not good at being a salesman. Mm-hmm. But it was just the whole no schedule. Yeah. Just drove me nuts. I hated it for years. I hated it. Now, 12 years in, starting my 13th season of doing this, I could never go back to clocking in. Yeah. I just don't think I could do it. I mean, yes, I could if I had to, but I'm just saying, there's nothing in me now that says I want to get a job where I just go and clock in. No, I have always said, if the show stops and I just go get a regular job, it will be something like that. I'll go, you know, we got rock quarries in Indiana, you know, driving heavy equipment, you know what I mean? I'll go to one of those. I'll drive a big ass forklift or a, you know, backhoe or a big front end loader or whatever. I'll take my lunch to work with me, my little 6-pack cooler of sodas, and I'll clock in, I'll get on my lift, and I'll stay there until it's time to go home, and then I'll clock out and go home. I don't want any responsibilities. As far as being a manager or any of that stuff, if when all this stuff ends, that's all I want to do.
Yeah.
And hopefully by then I'll just be drawing Social Security and smoking my cigars and drinking my cream soda.
Nice.
But yeah, I absolutely hated not having a schedule at first. Now I've gotten to the point where I don't think I could have one.
Yeah.
I've gotten so used to, well, you know, today I'm going to do this, you know. Today it's like, all right, well, it rained so much yesterday.
Right.
What I planned on doing today wasn't really going to work. So it was like, all right, well, I'll do that tomorrow then. And that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Now I've got to the point where it's like, yeah, I kind of like having that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and coming off of TV, lighten the load even more. Because it's like, if you're on a schedule with TV, you can't just miss a weekend.
No.
You have to have something to go up. Not that we're going to miss weekends, but it does make it easier that
For a
we
full
don't
episode.
have to. Yeah.
Exactly. That's the thing. That's the biggest difference right there is, because yeah, we still have sponsors.
Right.
So therefore we still have to put out a product.
Yeah.
But when you're on TV, you know, it has to be, you know, for us, we would rent the airtime.
Yeah.
And then we would send them our show. And then they also, you know, regular TV adds their own commercials as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So even though it's a half-hour show, obviously it's, I mean, anybody that's watched any half-hour sitcom, then they're watching it on Netflix.
Yeah.
Well, when you punch that up, it's a 30-minute show on TV. Well, now it's only a 22-minute show on Netflix because you take all the commercials out.
Yeah.
So we had to kind of, you know, you have to do that. You have a certain amount, you know, 28 minutes and 32 seconds, and it has to be exactly that every week. And that gets a little difficult.
Yeah.
That gets very difficult. Whereas now, going straight to YouTube, straight to Facebook, straight to all that stuff, you know, if like, especially in the winter months, we can still put content up.
Right.
You know what I mean? All winter long. Whereas before, you aired 26, you know, 26 episodes because we were once a week. We came on every Sunday at 10 o'clock. So you had to film 26 episodes, so that way you could re-air those 26 episodes in the winter time.
Yeah.
Well, when you're on YouTube, there is no reruns. There is none of that stuff.
Right.
And but we can take things like what we have done in the past when we don't have anything. We can go back to older clips or whatever, and we can take some vintage clips out. We can do some outtake stuff, and you know what I mean. We have a lot of different things we can put in there.
Yeah.
So that way your sponsors are still getting their advertising, but it's just the pressure and the you know. As soon as we did that, and I know you were one of the key people that were like, we got to get away from TV. All productions, they were the same way. You know, you've got to get off TV. And I didn't want to do it. I was like, we're a real TV show. I don't want to just be a YouTube show. I want to be a real TV show. And now there's no such thing as a real TV show anymore. I mean, my God, even NFL is being broadcast on Peacock and Amazon
Prime. Yeah.
Everybody's leaving.
Yeah.
The regular network television, I'm going to guess, for sure 10 years from now, will not be around.
Oh, yeah.
You know, probably 5 years. It's just the way it is now.
Right.
Nobody's going. You look at your big networks right now, and if you look at like your big news network, let's just say CNN.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You look at how many followers they have, and then put Joe Rogan next to him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Who's the guy that CNN hates? The Carson Carlton.
Tucker Carlson.
Tucker Carlson.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, those two are major enemies,
oh,
right?
Yeah.
Both complete opposite sides. But if you look, CNN, they're going to have 250,000 followers.
Right.
Tucker Carlson's going to have 2.5 million followers. You know what I'm saying? It's like nobody's watching, and I'm not saying anything bad about CNN or Tucker Carlson. I'm not saying anything.
Just
bad
an analogy.
Just for an example.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, You know, because I'm sure Tucker Carlson, he came from Fox. He's probably, I guarantee he's got more people viewing him on his social media platform than Fox Network has on theirs. You know what I mean? On broadcast television.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is now. And so finally, you know, I'm an old dog. It's hard for an old dog to learn new tricks. I finally realized you guys are right. We need to change. Again, I could never go back to having to do that.
Yeah.
Because what happens is you start becoming a cookie cutter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It starts
every episode looks the same. And, yeah.
And I hate that.
Put some extra wrapper on that one. That's a pretty cool wrapper, though. See that?
I like it.
That's pretty cool.
I do like it. Yeah, I've been talking too much. I'll let mine go out.
Sorry.
But yeah, I love the fact that there is no set time frame anymore. There is no set way of doing something anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the way we film now.
Mm-hmm.
The way we film. You know what I'm saying? It's like sometimes we use cameras, sometimes we use cell phones, sometimes we use lav mics, sometimes, you know what I mean? It's different all the time. Charity rides. There's times now we just go out there and we just, bam, we hit them.
Yeah.
Find out what the ride's about, talk to some people as they're getting ready to take off on the bikes, and you know what I mean? And it's like all of a sudden, you know, we've done that where it's like, you know, dear God, you know, 100,000 people just saw this like that. As opposed to local broadcast television.
Yeah.
Where, let's face it, if you get 10,000,
yeah,
you've knocked it out of the park.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just a totally different.
Times have definitely changed.
Yeah, just a totally different thing now. And
is that what that little nub in the middle is for? Is to actually help knock that off?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I use it to pick it up, to pull it up out of there and dump the ashes out.
I've never seen one with that in there, so. But it did help knock that off a lot easier.
There's another ashtray back here, same way, where it's got that little right there, and you can actually set it with the fire part right on it or whatever. But you do when you kind of tap it, and it just kind of knocks that ash off for you. How you feeling over there with yours?
Pretty good. Still, I mean, I've probably got half of it down.
Mm-hmm.
About halfway down.
Yeah.
And it's still keeping its smoothness and flavor and all. It's been really nice.
See, mine, that caramel that I was talking about, that I was getting at the end, the finish of it, because it still has that very earthy, very, very woodsy, very, can't even say cedar. It's just more of a woody, kind of a very earthy. Like I said, I always call it dirt, but people say that doesn't sound good. It tastes like dirt. It tastes very earthy.
Does it taste like the smell before a rain in the summertime?
You know?
Because
that's actually not a bad. I
just found out what that is.
That's actually not a bad analogy right there.
As much as I studied weather when I was in high school, I had no idea that that's actually a chemical reaction in the ground. So, a lot, I mean, this is getting way too detailed for this podcast, but plants all talk to each other. And so, from, miles away, there's no marijuana in this.
What are we smoking? What are we smoking here? All right, go ahead.
So they talk to each other, and because, a mile or so away, it knows it's raining, so the ground releases a chemical ahead of the storm, out of the dirt. And that's actually the smell that you're smelling is the chemical the ground releases.
And that's why, like, the leaves all turn upside down on trees and stuff right before it starts raining and everything.
I've been watching way too many documentaries about the woods.
So do the cows talk to each other too?
There is a group of guys that I actually got this one from the Joe Rogan podcast. There's a couple guys that are studying a few different animals across the world. And so they're using microphones, and they're actually finding out that, like in the North Atlantic, dolphins and not a killer whale, but there's another kind of whale like that. For whatever reason, a specific time of the year, they all hunt together. They both speak in their own, language, but when they come together for that to hunt, they actually speak a different language that they both understand.
Huh.
That episode was pretty cool, and I don't remember what episode of his podcast that was, but that one was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I gotta smoke something besides a cigar when we're doing that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Might have a new podcast starting up here soon, folks.
Not in Indiana. You can't do it here.
No, not here.
We're gonna have to move next door.
Guess once a month we're gonna have to drive to Illinois.
All right. Yeah.
Well, we got friends over there. I'm sure they'd let us use their building.
Why, sure. Why, sure. No, this is just really good, but that's a great analogy. The way it smells before rain is that's kind of what it reminds me of. Yeah. And now that's all I'll ever think about now when I'm smoking this. Like I said, at the end, that finish, it does have more of a caramelly kind of. It does have a little bit of a sweetness at the end. That's not over by any means. Just a very
like what I normally smoke.
Nothing like that.
I smoke candy basically.
It's just a very mild. Dude, I'm telling you right now, I smoked one of those Kentucky Fire cigars.
I haven't smoked that one yet.
I had no idea it was. Now it's not infused or anything. It's just a sweeter cigar.
Huh. It's sweet.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's sweet. It was like, dear Lord, I bought two. I was like, well, Wesley's getting one.
Well, the 5-pack fever that I just went through is probably going to be more up your alley. Well, I mean, one of them was which you gave me one of these, the Rocky Patel, 1999 Connecticut.
You're gonna love that one.
I did smoke the one you gave me, and it is really good.
Oh, okay.
So I did order a 5-pack of those.
Gotcha.
But then I got the Diesel. I forget which one that is. Bourbon Barrel. And then the Ave Maria, because I do really like Ave Maria. At least the one that I had.
I was gonna say all the ones I've smoked, and they're all the ones I've gotten from you. They're all fantastic.
So I think this one you'll like, the Argentum. I think that's what it's called. But I'm not sure for me. But it's like when they got that 5-pack fever going on, it's like that's when you need to try stuff that you don't normally try because you're getting it so much cheaper.
Right.
So I mean, most of these for a normal 5-pack outside of that deal is upwards of $70 to $100.
Yeah.
But you're getting it for $25.
Yeah.
Or $20 or whatever it is.
25 as long as you buy 4 of them.
Yeah.
The more you buy from Thompson Cigars, yes, that's what I do all the time. And as long as you buy 4 of them, you're getting it. Like you said, this Rocky Patel right here. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's damn near $100 for 5.
Yeah.
And you're getting it for $25.
Right.
It's like, holy cow, you can't afford not to smoke it.
Oh, the other one was the acid. The what do they call it? The green wrapper one, Candela
wrapper.
Yeah, the old-fashioned wrapper that a lot of people don't use anymore.
Yeah,
that one was pretty good. It's a shorter one, so I'm basically like 20 minutes and you're done. So it's a nice short cigar if you don't have time to smoke at Churchill.
Right.
But that one was really cool because other than the Shamrock that we smoked, because that one had the green in it, but this one is, the whole wrapper is green.
Gotcha.
So it was different. I liked it though.
It is,
and it's acid, so it's infused.
That is what, all my grandparents, any older person when I was a kid, that's what they smoked, because that's every cigar you ever saw was that Candela wrapper, had that greenish tint. Now what is this one right here?
That is my favorite, the Tobacco Special.
Now is that infused?
One of my favorites. I thought it was, but it might not be. That might actually just be the sweet. I mean, it does have a sweet tip on it.
Yeah.
So I know the end of it is sweet, but I'm not sure if it's actually infused or not. It may not be infused.
Because I think that's what I was like that Kentucky Fire. I think that's what it had, the sweet cap.
Yeah.
And I don't think of those as being infused. To me, that's okay. Yeah, it's got a sweet cap on it, but I had some that I bought that the Sauls or whatever, the Drew Estates, and I didn't realize they were going to be sweet like that. You know, and I smoked one, and I was like, dear Lord, that's almost too much.
Yeah.
But you know, I put that cigar down, and I let it burn out, and I actually lit it a day later.
Yeah.
Next day, and lit it back up.
It was still sweet?
Because I thought, I don't know if I can even, you know, this probably won't taste very good now. But I went ahead and lit it up and tried it anyway, and dude, it was fantastic the second day.
Oh, yeah?
All the sweetness wasn't on there. There was no sweetness to it whatsoever. It was just, I was like, wow, now that's actually a really good cigar.
Yeah.
So, and normally if I leave a cigar, if it burns out on its own and goes out, I might let it sit for an hour and then pick it back up and relight it again. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people will tell you, oh no, once it goes out, it's like, I have cigars go out on me all the time. I'm constantly relighting cigars because a lot of times you're doing this right here.
Right.
You're just kind of talking and enjoying, but you know, I'll let it sit in the ashtray for a couple hours and then relight it back up again. I'll do that all the time, but generally if you do it a day later, it's a little bit different. Unless you're actually coming in and you're cutting off, you come down an inch past the fire and cutting that off to where that way, then it's going to taste more like a normal cigar when you relight it. But yeah, this one right here, I really do enjoy it. And again, it's a Dominican cigar, and I have a tendency to gravitate towards the Nicaraguan, so I kind of like it. And again, Montecristo, it's one of the first brands you ever hear of. And when it's cigars, it's Montecristo or Arturo Fuente. Those are the names that have been around.
I was gonna say, I mean,
long before
growing up, I didn't grow up around smoking at all, so like I didn't know different names, but I knew Montecristo.
Right.
Like everybody knows certain brands, and that's just one of them.
Yeah, so it's tried and true. And again, now I got these on a 5-pack, and again, these same thing. You're looking at close to $100 if you bought 5 of them.
Right.
And instead, you're getting it for $25. It's like, shoot, how do you not take advantage of that?
Yeah. And then it's really nice because they give you that 25% discount or 15% discount. The little pack when you buy them, it comes the little slip in the bottom, and then it's like, you got to buy that by the end of the month, and it's like, oh, I don't know if I have the money, but then how do you not? Because you got the discount.
Right. Now I have noticed the more you buy from them, you start getting emails, and next thing you know, there's another. Hey, we got 10% sitting aside for you, because there is I know when you go through Thompson's, there is an extra excise tax that they charge.
Yes.
So you get a good price, and then all of a sudden it's like, all right, now there's another $25 because of this extra tax. When I buy mine from Cigars Daily out in Arizona, that tax isn't on there.
Right.
So I always factor that into the price of everything. It's like, all right, but I'm also going to save $25. But with Thompson's, to me, is when I see that, if I have get an email, hey, we got 10% or we got 20% for you right here if you want to use this in the next couple days.
Yeah.
It's hard to say no. And I know that's why they do it, is so you buy more, but yet that's the reason why I got a bigger humidor now. It's like, but like I said, you can't afford not to buy them at this price.
Right.
You have to.
Yeah, you definitely tell I'm the co-host. I smoke mine down faster.
Yeah, you have been able to puff down on yours. Now this is a bigger ring gauge right here. Now again,
I was a little surprised how fast this did burn down.
That was a Churchill.
Yeah.
Whereas this is a Toro. So I mean, I've got a 6-inch cigar. Yours was a 7-inch cigar, but this one was also had a bigger ring gauge, a fatter ring gauge. So I think that kind of slows them down a little bit more too. Now this has been burning perfect. And I'm just now starting to see. It's just now starting to get a little bit of a run on it. Again, don't have to touch it up. I do because I like to.
Right.
It makes me feel good about life. So I do it. But yeah, most people like that, they wouldn't have even touched it up.
Yeah.
Because that is something most people don't realize. If you start burning on a run or you start uneven burn, the cigar doesn't taste right.
Yeah, it changes the flavor. It's weird.
Changes everything because you're supposed to be, they've got their fillers, and they got their binder, then they got the wrapper, and all that's supposed to burn at the same time to get the flavor that they were looking for.
Now,
go ahead.
I've been in, down in Bloomington, Indiana. There's a store there. They have, it's kind of a strange store because, when you look in the windows, you see, luggage. But yet they have this huge selection of cigars, of pipes, pipe tobacco and stuff like that. Like I got my first pipe a couple months ago. So maybe one of these times I'll bring that on here for this. And they also have like a little enclosed lounge so you can go in there and sit and smoke it as well. But in one of their cases, like there's a cigar that, no joke, is like this big, and at the end it's like that big around. I'm like, how do you smoke that thing? Like, is it supposed to be more like you have it as a showcase,
right? Or
do you actually smoke that?
I don't know, because I've seen that on Cigars Daily. They do a live every Monday and all that. And I've seen one of their videos where the dude, you know, and he's literally, it's this long. Yeah. It's like, dear God, I don't know how many hours it would take to smoke that thing.
Right.
You figure just these regular cigars generally takes me an hour to an hour and a half to go through them.
Yeah.
You know, that's the one thing in the wintertime, you know, if you don't have an indoor place to smoke, I started buying those tins.
Yeah.
And I was doing those little cigarellos or whatever they call them. Just because it was like, shit, I don't want to stand by a fire for an hour and a half.
Yeah. With the wind that we have in Indiana, fire doesn't do much in the winter.
No, and you can't really enjoy a cigar either when it's super, super windy either. So,
right.
You know, now that we have the lounge, it's a little nicer. It's got a little spoiled this winter. And smoked more cigars this winter than I normally would because it was a comfortable area here. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I know cigar. What is it?
Aficionados.
Thank you. I know when they rated this cigar, they rated it a 91. So it had a good cigar rating from them. And I know it was the cigar of the year, you know, whatever year.
So I'm pretty sure the Valkyrie rates like a mid-80s, low to mid-80s. So it's still high end. It's not.
Oh yeah.
It's not like a middle of the road cigar. It's still higher end, but it's not quite as premium as that.
And that's kind of the Steel Horse ape hangers. Those Steel Horse cigars. You know, I've told everybody, it's like, you know, they're a good cigar. You know, I think, what did I say? I think the rating I gave it was probably an 85 maybe. Yeah. You know, 83, 85, somewhere around there. I'd say, you know, a good B.
Right.
Which I was always thrilled to get Bs when I was in school. And I don't know, you know, I can't say, well, this cigar is actually better than that cigar.
Right.
Because they're totally different. Yeah. Again, this is all Dominican. Yeah. That one's got 5 different regions.
Yeah, that one's pretty crazy.
It's the Brazil, you know, the Brazil binder, and then it's Honduran and Nicaraguan and Dominican fillers. Yeah. So you got all that stuff going on.
I think I had Indonesian something in it too.
Possibly the wrapper. I can't remember what the wrapper is.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting that they could have that many different regions in one cigar.
You know, some people love it, some people hate it.
Yeah.
You know, I had a friend out over here last weekend, and I was showing him the cigar and everything else. Why would anybody even want to smoke that? That tastes horrible. It doesn't even sound like it'd be good. I was like, well, okay.
Well, then you're not getting one.
So, no, it did not get one. It did not get one. But yeah, I just thought it was funny, and it was like, because he's more old school cigar. Yeah. He would love this. Yeah. Absolutely love this. Something very plain, something basic, something simple, and you know, whereas, like I said, that ape hanger with all the different blends and everything else, I mean, my God, now that one does transition a little bit as you're smoking it. It changes a little bit. And, I think that's what I love about it. You know, I smoked cigarettes back in the day, long time ago. Okay, I haven't smoked a cigarette since 1986. And I'd smoked for quite a while. Because back in my day, you want to hear something fun? In my day, when I was in school, now I was in high school in the 70s. I graduated in the 70s. But when I was in high school, you had designated smoking areas in high school. And in Georgia, where I was at the time, they didn't even have middle school down there. You didn't have junior highs. So you went straight from elementary school to high school.
Jeez.
So you went, elementary was 7th grade, and then 8th grade started high school, and we were called sub-freshmen.
Huh.
So you were a subby, and then a freshman, and then, you know what I'm saying?
Huh.
So when I'm going into high school, I'm all of 13 years old.
Jeez.
And do you know, as long as I had permission from my parents, they would sign a slip
Yeah.
saying that I had permission to smoke, and you bring it in there, they gave you a smoking permit, and as long as you were in the designated areas, and there was usually 2, I went to 2 different high schools when I was growing up, but you had your certain areas, that was a designated area. Now, if you got caught in the bathroom, just like this,
Right.
you know, smoking in the boys' room, if you got caught that, you were in trouble. But as long as you were in the designated smoking area, you had your permit, it was okay. And I was smoking at 13.
Jeez. But
So,
doctors also back then said that smoking was okay too. So
I sure highly recommend it. Dude, doctors' offices had ashtrays in the waiting rooms. I mean, gosh, I always sat at the back of the plane because that's where the ashtrays were. You know, if you wanted to smoke on an airplane, you had to sit in the back. So yeah, that was when that was me growing up. So I mean, I smoked up until like 86 or whatever, and then I stopped.
Yeah.
So I don't even remember what got me going on about this. But I'm losing it.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely losing it. What were we talking about that made me start talking about this?
Because you smoked cigarettes back in the day. I don't know. I know. I just went to Vegas, and it's just crazy that they still have no smoking signs on airplanes.
Now, here we go. So when you're in Vegas,
Yeah.
if you go into one of the casinos, they got casinos in Vegas, right?
Yeah, they got a couple. They got a couple of them over there.
So when you go into a casino, are you allowed to smoke inside the casinos out there?
Most of them. I think I've seen 2 there that do display no smoking signs throughout the casino, but the majority, a good 90 to 95% of them, is still smoking. Now there's areas in the casino where you'll have like a sectioned off area that's a no smoking section.
Gotcha.
You're still going to smell smoke in there if it's busy. If the casino's busy, it's not like it's enclosed. It's just a separate area of the casino. You're going to smell some smoke, but it's not near as bad in that area.
Okay. I'm just curious. Here in the Midwest, most of them you can't smoke in them, and then they have that one room that you can.
Yeah.
You can go into the smoking room, but that's how it was. I mean, on the plane.
Yeah.
So you're telling me the guy sitting in front of me, I'm on the very first row of the smoking section. This poor slob is the last row of the non-smoking, and I'm sitting there puffing away.
Right.
You tell me he's not smelling that? Yeah, it's kind of like the restaurants and stuff. Now, I will say this. Even though I didn't smoke, and I quit smoking in '86, stopped smoking, I was still very much against smoking bans.
Yeah.
Like a lot of your counties, a lot of your, they don't allow smoking in any building whatsoever.
Right.
That I think that's wrong. Personally, I'm always been that guy that says, hey, if you own this building or you're renting, whatever, you're paying the mortgage.
Yeah.
You're paying your employees. You got a restaurant and you're paying for all this stuff. You're paying your taxes. You're paying everything. You decide whether people can smoke or not inside your building. I understand in a doctor's office. I understand stuff like that. You don't have a choice. We don't go to the doctor because we're having a good time. You're going to the doctor because you're sick. You're going to these places where I get it. I do understand. All right, probably shouldn't have any smoking going on in here.
Right.
But as far as restaurants and stuff like that, where it's places you're just going because you want to go, you have an option. It's like, put 2 restaurants right here. This guy says no smoking in my restaurant. This guy says, hey, if you want to smoke, come to my restaurant.
Right.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
I don't get that. Why are you going to tell him, no, you can't let him smoke in your building?
Right.
It's like, all right, then you pay the rent, you pay the taxes.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like I've always been in favor of choice. And that's my whole thing. I'm big on freedom of choice.
Right.
Same with seatbelts, same with helmets, same with all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Freedom of choice. We're grown-ass adults. We can choose what we want to do.
Right.
I'm not going to go into a smoking establishment and then bitch because somebody's blowing smoke.
Right.
I'm an idiot if I do that. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, when I was working at the Soul Mill, everything was still smoking. People were allowed to smoke. You know, we went to, there was a bar there in Bargersville, Red's Place. You were allowed to smoke in there.
Yeah.
I went in there. I knew I was going to smell cigarettes. There was times I didn't go simply because I was like, you know what? I just don't want to. I don't want to breathe that in.
Right.
So I didn't go. It was that easy. I didn't go and tell them they had to stop doing it. I didn't go in there and say, hey, I'm coming in for lunch. You can't smoke now. I was like, no, you're allowed to smoke if you want to smoke. So that's my whole standpoint on that.
Well, I mean, even with me, I'm younger, but growing up, pretty much every restaurant when I was a kid, you had the smoking side and the non-smoking side.
Right.
I don't remember ever smelling smoke if I was on the non-smoking side.
Not if they had a good ventilation.
Right.
It was okay. Now again, if you happen to be that person that's right on the edge, you know, or you got a little wall that's open up here and you got this little partial wall and those people are non-smoking, you're smoking.
Right.
How you doing? You know, so I do understand that. But like I said, as far as, you know, to me, it's like, it was just such a simple, easy remedy. It's like, you put a sign on your door. Smoking establishment. Non-smoking establishment.
Right.
To me, that was pretty easy. But
it's no different than seeing posts on social media and getting all pissed off and discombobulated by it. It's like, just keep scrolling.
Right?
If you don't like it,
just
half a scroll, you're going to see something else.
Yep. Yeah, that's one of the things that tears me up. It's like, I never go on anybody else's page and tell them they're wrong. Especially when it comes to, you know, politics or religion or all those, you know, key topics, you know, abortion or any of that stuff, smoking. It's like, okay, so if they say they don't have a problem, just like me saying, I don't have a problem with somebody having a smoking establishment.
Right.
I know a lot of people that own restaurants that were in areas that you could still have it smoking if you wanted to. That chose not to. And they decided, you know what, I'm going to make it non-smoking. And everybody I know that's done that, their business has gone up. It just works out. But it was their choice.
Yeah.
They chose to say it's going to be non-smoking.
Yeah.
Government didn't step in and tell you what you had to do.
Right.
So, but yeah, when you get off social media and you have these people that get on my page and want to tell me how wrong I am about something, it's like, first of all, it's my opinion, so it can't be right or wrong. It's my opinion. That those aren't facts; those are opinions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, if you don't like it, just keep moving.
Right.
You know, like you said, just keep scrolling. You're gonna be right past that. You'll be on to something else. If you don't like what I'm doing, or if you don't like what I'm saying, it's like, just fine, keep on going.
Right.
I refuse to even acknowledge people anymore. You know, I got into a few of them when we first started doing the show, and I'd get some comments or whatever.
Yeah.
And I would start, you know, and then next thing you know, you've got this big long feed and this big long argument. It's like, yeah, I ain't doing this no more.
Right.
And now I just completely ignore.
I say a lot of the guys that are, well, not guys, people that are, you know, celebrities and high up, that they get comments and stuff like that all the time. That's the first thing they say to people that are just starting to climb the celebrity ladder. Like, don't go look at posts and comments and stuff. Just don't even look at it. If you want, have a publicist or somebody that can go look at it and they can, you know, let you know certain things, but don't ever go and look at the comments and all that.
No, that is very, very good advice. Very good advice. Well, man, we ran a whole gamut here, man. We talked about Frito-Lay. We talked about the Soul Mill. Steel Horse Thunder now, we're going to go. I still haven't figured out what I was even trying to talk about as far as the fact that I quit smoking.
I don't know.
But it was a fun fact about the fact that when you were in high school back in my day, you could still smoke cigarettes.
That's pretty funny. And it is weird that you can still get hotel rooms, like a smoking room, where you're allowed to smoke in this room, but you can't smoke in the room next to it.
Right.
It's a funny issue.
Yeah. So you were out in Vegas. You just got back just what, a week?
Yeah, about a week ago. Yeah.
So what's Vegas like nowadays? Modern day Vegas.
Actually, I got to do an interview. I forgot. I got to look that up. I got stopped on the street by a company that's, I don't even remember the name of it. I have it saved in my phone. But they stopped me and asked me to do an interview with them. I was like, sure. And I think they weren't expecting me to know stuff about Vegas. And so I started rattling off different stuff about Vegas. And so they got really interested and started asking me all kinds of questions. It's definitely, Vegas is definitely becoming different. Not that it's bad or anything. It's just, it's modernizing. It's definitely well past the Rat Pack era and all that, mm-hmm. Old Vegas. If you want to see that kind of side, you can go to downtown, like Fremont Street and all that, and they're really revamping that area, but they're keeping the old casinos, so it's got like the old vintage kind of signs and neon and all that, so that part's really cool.
Bloodstains from the gangsters.
Well, now it was a lot busier this time, because we did go a little later than usual, and Fremont Street was a little too busy for me. Like, I don't mind walking down the strip and there's a group, a lot of people around. Everybody's generally walking. When you get to Fremont Street, if it gets busy, it's just like you're standing in this mass of people. And I started getting a little freaked out. So I was like, let's walk to the other end and just like go back to the hotel. But I mean, like, we went to a lot of shows this time. So instead of gambling, we spent our money going to a bunch of different shows. Unfortunately, two of the shows we went to are, well, one of them, their last day was yesterday. Last night was their last show ever. Which is really sad, because it was by far the highlight of the trip. It was Lost Spirits Distillery and Circus. And so it was a rum distillery, and they had a live show built around it. So it's in this massive warehouse. They got the active rum distillery in the center, and then there's just this maze of corridors. And you find your way to these little stages that are set up everywhere. And every 10 minutes or so, you'd have performances of just like circus performances on all these stages.
Really?
And so you're going around trying to find these hidden rooms to do the rum samplings. And then on your way through, you're stopping and seeing all these shows. I mean, we're literally 3 feet from these performers.
Huh.
So, like, there's people that are basically, like circus performers. So you got like a ring hanging from the ceiling, and they're just doing all these acrobatic moves, flying right over top of you and stuff. It was like, I don't know how it couldn't make it. It was the coolest show I've ever seen. Huh. But there's a ton of construction going on right now in Vegas.
Yeah.
They've torn a bunch of buildings down. They're building a bunch of buildings. So that was kind of cool. Next time we go, and a lot of this stuff we were seeing is going to be built, because it'll be built within a couple months. I mean, when they do construction, it's like 24 hours a day.
So you saw the new Oakland Raiders stadium?
I did. That's actually been there for a few years. The last time we went there, it was actually there.
Have they been there that long?
The building has.
Okay.
I want to say the building's actually been there for 3 years now. Either 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
So the last time we went, it had just gotten finished, so we got to drive next to it and see it. Okay. And it is a cool looking building.
Now, is it pretty close to like the Strip and all that kind of stuff? I mean.
Yeah. So if you know, like, you got like Luxor, the big pyramid casino. Across the street from that is Mandalay Bay, which is the big one with the gold windows that got busted out a few years ago. And then right behind Mandalay Bay is where
I like to think they use that one on Modern Family.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, right behind Mandalay Bay is basically where that stadium is.
Okay.
Now the cool one, I don't know if it'll be built by the next time we go. We tend to go like every other year, it seems like. The Tropicana just got shut down a few weeks ago. And that is right across the street from, I don't know how I always forget that one's name. It's the Castle one. We even stayed there once. But basically, right across the street, you had the old Tropicana that was built in like the 50s.
Right. Yeah, I remember the Tropicana.
Yeah. So the main building is now going to be demolished, and they are building the Oakland A's baseball stadium on the Strip. Yeah.
Really?
It's literally going to be on the corner of the Strip. So I think they're keeping some of the towers, hotel towers, and then they're going to build the stadium around those towers. So if you're staying in that complex on those towers, you can actually watch the games.
That's kind of cool.
Right.
So what is it you guys like to do when you go out to, like you said, you guys generally go out, you and your wife generally go out there about every other year.
Uh-huh.
You guys go out there. When you're going to Vegas, what's you're like, man, when we get there, because now you've been there a few times.
Right.
So you know what to expect. You kind of know what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you've had a chance to eat at different places. You've been able to, whether you ever double up on those kind of places, or if you're
Right.
always, is it no, I just can't wait to go do a bunch of different things, or
Right.
what is it when you say, you get on the plane, you go, you know what I can't wait to do when we get there?
Yeah. Normally we wing it. So it's like we have an idea of stuff we want to do, but we don't write anything down. We don't plan anything. We know what day we're going to get there, and then we just kind of walk and figure it out. This time we had a friend with us, and so it was like, they wanted to see certain shows. We wanted to see a couple shows, so it was like, okay, let's plan this one out. So we had a show every night. The only food plan that I had at the Venetian, they have the Grand Lux Cafe, and that's basically like the hotel's restaurant. There's 4 of them, I think, in the country. The best French toast that you could ever eat. So I always say, if we go to Vegas, I have to have that twice.
Nice.
So that's the only place that we ever really double up on, and then we try to hit different places every time when we're out there.
Well, because that's the thing. I mean, for me, it's Savannah, Georgia. Going
Right.
down to Tybee Island, Savannah, Georgia. When I go down there, I like to try different things. I mean, let's face it. When I go on vacation, all I want to do is sit on a beach.
Right.
I want to drink cold beer out of an ice cold cooler, smoke a cigar when I can. But then when it's time to go eat, there are certain places down there.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of, my dad living down there, that's where every summer vacation was down that way.
Uh-huh.
So you do. I mean, now, again, when I go back all the way to the 70s, most of that stuff's all gone now anyway. Tybee's changed a bunch.
A lot, yes.
But there are still certain places where it's like, when I go to Tybee, I definitely, when I'm in Savannah, I definitely want to go. Spanky's was one of those.
Spanky's on the beach.
Got to go to Spanky's on the beach. So it's just kind of one of those things. But I do like trying different places.
Right.
After a while, it's like, man, I love this place, but I want to see something different too.
Right.
I want to try something different, and then you'll never have another next favorite if you keep doing the same thing over and over. But I'm one of those people where if I find something I like, I just stick with it. It's
hard not to go there.
It's like, damn, I just drove 800 miles to get here.
Right.
I want that. Yeah. So it's no, it's pretty cool though. Pretty cool. So you have French toast. There's one thing that when I'm going to Vegas.
Yeah.
Because you're not a super big gambler. I mean, you're not going to go out there. You're not bringing, $10K out there with you to go.
I think the most I've ever spent gambling out there was $100. But one year I spent $40 gambling and I won about $900. So basically, I just play slots because I like watching tables, but I don't know how to play the tables. So I'll put a 20 in, And then if I end up hitting like a mini jackpot, or I just slowly get that number up, I'll hit a spot and I'm like, okay, I'm taking that ticket out. I don't want to see it. I don't want to even know I have it. Just put another 20 in and start over. And so I did that, and I happened to hit too many jackpots off of different machines. And so that year, all of our food was paid for because I hit too many jackpots.
That's kind of nice. So when you go to Vegas, you're not even going out there just to gamble. That's the whole thing. You're not really, it's not like, oh, we're going to go out here. And,
right.
I mean, let's face it, we can go down to here in Indiana.
Yeah.
I can go down to French Lick to a casino. I can go down to Evansville to a casino.
Right.
I can go, you know what I mean?
Shelbyville, Terre Haute.
Shelbyville, yeah.
Terre Haute just opened. I don't know if it's open yet. I think it just opened a couple weeks ago.
So I mean,
so there's quite a few here.
There's casinos around here that we could go to if we want to do that. You know, Cincinnati's only an hour and a half away, and there's, you know, the big casino down there. So when you guys go out there, it's more for the...
More for food and sightseeing, because I mean every one of those hotels is extravagant.
Yeah.
You go in, and some of the older ones like the Luxor, it's all Egyptian. The Venetian is of course Venice, and that's our favorite hotel. It's just one of the more expensive ones, so we've only stayed there once. And then they're just, I mean, a city block is like a mile long there, so these buildings are huge. And they all interconnect. So sometimes you'll be walking through them, you come out and you're like, I'm in a whole nother building. Like, I didn't even realize I switched buildings in here.
See, and that's kind of how, down in Nashville, Tennessee, they have the Grand Ole Opry.
Yes. Yes, it's very similar to that.
And I just remember going to that one time.
Right.
And I was like, dear Lord, there's a boat ride inside.
Yeah.
I'm inside, and I feel like I'm outside because they got the ceilings painted and all that. And it's like you forget you're actually inside a building sometimes.
Yeah,
you know. And I just remember that, and then I was looking it up, and it was like the top 10. That was one of the top 10 hotels in the country.
Yeah,
or in the world. I can't remember what, and it was like 8 of the 10 were all in Vegas. I was like, dear Lord, I just couldn't even imagine. I spent an entire day.
Yeah.
Inside the Grand Ole Opry Hotel.
Yeah, the friend that came with it was their first time going to Vegas. And she was like, I'm so glad you guys were here because I would have not known what to do. Because I mean, it is the first time you go, it's a lot to take in. And I mean, even you see it on TV, you know, different shows that go there, movies. But once you're there, it's like, oh. Like there's a lot going on here, and every time we go, they've added more somehow.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that is how everything is. You know, you see pictures of the Grand Canyon, then when you actually get to it, you're like, damn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like that with so many things. You know, the pictures just don't really do it justice.
Right.
Pictures are great to get you to go there.
Yes.
Because you know what I'm saying, you know, it's cool. It's cool to see it. You know, I love watching YouTube, and I feel like I've traveled the world now because I watch all these different, you know, nature things.
Right.
But when you actually get there in person, then it's like, wow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just. So yeah, I haven't been to Vegas yet. Maybe this next time you guys go, maybe Cindy and I will be tagging along.
That'd be nice.
I just wish it was closer.
It's a ways out there.
I wish we could just drive instead of flying. Yeah. I don't like flying.
For some reason, the flight out there never seems near as long as the flight coming home. And I think it's just a mindset because I know going out there, I'm landing like an hour after I took off somehow.
Because of the time change.
Yeah. So when I'm flying back, I'm like, yeah, we left at 3 in the afternoon, but we landed at 7 o'clock at night. And yeah, that part is rough.
Yeah. Yeah. That's pretty cool. You guys got any more trips planned?
I've got one more vacation this year. I don't know where we're going to go yet. I know originally we planned Savannah. 'Cause we love going down there. And I know my wife just got a new job. So something like trying to figure out, I might have to trade my week with somebody else at work to make that work out. So yeah, there'll be one more sometime this year.
Yeah.
Not sure when though.
Yeah, take them whenever you can, man. Whenever you can take a vacation, I always say take them because you never know what tomorrow may hold. You know, right now, you know, the position I'm in right now, we don't have the luxury of being able to take a vacation.
Right. And
haven't for a while. And so it's, you know, and you don't bitch about it, you don't complain about it, you just do what's got to be done. But I know I am definitely ready for a vacation. I mean, and in all honesty, the last vacation I had was, you know, happened to happen right after I buried my best friend.
Yeah.
That puts a damper on a vacation.
Right.
So, not to mention a car breaking down.
Yes.
And having to drive all the way back with a U-Haul truck to get another vehicle to drive all the way back. And it was just, that was the last vacation. And it was by the time he came home, it was like, dear God, I can sleep for a week right now before I'd have to go somewhere else. Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely ready for a long vacation. I got a weekend. Yeah. I got to take off on Saturday, this past Saturday, come home on Sunday. Yeah. Felt like a new man. So yeah, I am definitely ready for a vacation. Well, what do you think? Should we? I'm about done with my cigar. You're about done with yours. Overall, what'd you think about? And again, what were you smoking?
Mine was the Man of War Valkyrie. It's Connecticut. And it, like I said, the first one I had was much harsher. It was very bitter, had a very bad aftertaste, and maybe that's why I waited so long to try it again. And I'm glad I did, because it was much better this time. Very smooth, had some of the peppery notes in it, but it wasn't overbearing, and didn't have that harsh aftertaste flavor in the mouth or anything like that.
Cool. Very good. Yes, my Montecristo, and I did the same thing. I smoked one of these already. Yeah. When we sit here and do a review, I don't want to light up a cigar I've never smoked before because we're doing too many other things. Yes. You know, that's the big thing about cigars, man. It's also the atmosphere that you're in as to how well, you know, the different experience you're going to get from them. Mm-hmm. But this right here, it lived up to exactly what I was hoping it would be. It was, you know, it was as good as what I remembered. Super smooth. It's even now, you know, I'm down pretty small here, and it's still plenty. It's not that hot.
No. I know you touched it up really just once. The second time you didn't need to touch it up. Right. But it's smoked, or it's burned really even. Mine burned really even the whole way. Yeah. Whole way down.
It's burned good. It's a slow burn. I don't know how long we've been doing this, but I know it's been a while.
It's been a while.
The Montecristo, it's the classic. They're yellow label, Shea Connecticut wrapper, and all Dominican binder and fillers. And if you want an old school cigar, this is the one. If you want one that just kind of tastes like that earthy, woody kind of thing. Like I said, you do still get now that I'm into the final third. Yeah. That caramel, that little bit of sweetness, I don't really notice that much anymore. No, it's still there. I can still taste it a little bit right there. There's a little bit more a little bit of spice. I do get a little bit more of the spice on it now. Yeah. So yeah, very good cigar. Highly recommend them. Nice. Especially on a day like today where I just wanted something smooth, and something light with a soda. Mm-hmm. You know, later on tonight, who knows? I might fire up one of these big black ones like what you got right there, and get me a big Guinness beer or something like that, or peanut butter stout, and who knows? You know what I'm saying? There's just time and place for everything. Mm-hmm. All right, man. Appreciate you coming out here and smoking a cigar with me.
Yeah, it's been fun.
It's kind of nice when we get to do this.
Right. It's been a while this time.
Has been a while.
Changing jobs and vacations and been busy, so it's really nice.
All right, well, I need a new refill, and I'm ready to call it a day.
Yeah. Yeah. Make sure you guys check out Badass Beard Care. Great
product.
Root beer. It came from your fridge. Yes, great American-made product, veteran-owned company. I can't say anything bad about it. They do make some very good product.
Yep, badass beer care. Then, of course, Steel Horse Thunder, we have Ladendorf Law, we have Crambo's, and we have Roy Rogers Heating and Air. They are what get us through the year with the Steel Horse Thunder motorcycle show. The podcast, obviously, Steel Horse Thunder and Beyond. We get to talk a little bit more than just motorcycles.
Right.
It's usually incorporated in there, but you know, it was nice having Shaky on a while back and Cowboy and stuff like that. So I do enjoy the ones where we can get some special guests.
Right.
But I really enjoy when we get to sit back here and just either have a beer or a soda and a cigar and kind of hash out some things. Yep. All right. I guess I got to go do dishes now.
Oh, man.
Thanks for coming out, Wes.
No problem.